I have a collection of these. They're packs, but what's in these packs, I'm not allowed to say. That's right, we're living in strange times. I collect these things and have a page of them on my website. I was informed in no uncertain terms by the lords of the Internet in Silicon Valley that I was a bad boy for doing that. And so that page on my website is demonetized and deranked in search engines, effectively censoring it. Now, I am simply being misunderstood here by a robot. Obviously, I'm not promoting any activity one might engage in with these things, involving lighters or fire or ashtrays or anything of the kind. Why would I do that? These things are harmful, even if more doctors, yes. Not only are these things harmful, but most of these that I've collected are over a half-century old. I'll bet they're stale. Do our Internet lords really think people are so susceptible and gullible that things like this must be kept from view? Well, I guess they ought to know. They make their billions showing and suggesting things to a gullible public. So, I don't want to oversell this video as being politically incorrect and thus on some exciting and taboo subject. But I guess it kind of is. Like I said, strange times. Like a lot of things I collect these things for the graphics. Selling this product has always been about image and graphics. In some ways, marketers of this product, going back a century or more, literally invented advertising and marketing as it is practiced in our time. Huh? How so? Well, the product here, the product itself, no matter who sells it, is virtually identical. It's basically a dried plant wrapped in paper, you know? People used to make their own, one at a time. They could have evolved to be sold, one at a time, out of machines, the way you buy gumballs. Nowhere is it written in the stars that these packs should even exist. Why do they? Well, when companies started to make these things commercially, they wanted to distinguish their brand from the other brands and try to build a loyal customer base, what we call brand loyalty. And so they created unique packaging with graphics and sometimes a slogan. With this branding, they basically invented the idea of the customer identifying with a particular look and building the feeling in the customer that their own look, the customer's own self-perception, was somehow enhanced by this brand choice. Facts didn't matter. It was image that counted. Nonsense? Of course. But this trick amassed fortunes for those who successfully plied this ruse on a willing public. This approach to marketing, often called lifestyle advertising or identity advertising, is today everywhere. Here it is being used to sell vehicles. These sociopathic ads don't tell us facts. They don't inform us in any way. They show us images to which we are supposed to respond with open wallets and thrusting credit cards. It's literally comical to see what these marketers think of us and what they think will appeal to us. Not so funny is how well this works on some of us. They keep doing it because it works. More of a box than a pack. Here are Trim Reducing Aid You-Know-What. These are from 1955 and say they were clinically tested to help you lose weight. Clinically tested. From the Cornell Drug Corporation. And here's an oldie with Patina, a 1938 pack of Pall Mall, the modern blend. Camel introduced in 1913, is said to have been the first nationally popular brand in the U.S. Its packs varied over the years, but always retained the classic look. See if you can spot the differences in these two packs, one from 1954, the other from 1955. Literally everything on them has changed, yet the overall look remains the same. Out of the goodness of their hearts, the companies who made these things used to distribute these little 4-packs, free, as samples, around, high schools. Oh, and these were given out free, too, promoting yet another odious habit, America's habit of lifting up its most mediocre politicians to high office. Occasionally, new packaging types were tried out, such as this plastic flip-top box of Philip Morris menthols from the late 1960s. Viceroy was another brand that adjusted their graphics frequently, but always retained a familiar look. The short pack is from 1952, the flip-open box from 1955. The Waldorf Astoria pack would be called, I suppose, a private label brand for the hotel. Notice something about the foil wrapping on this pack. There isn't any. That dates this pack to the war years, World War II, when metal was being preserved for military uses. Even foil, I guess. The pack is from 1943. Most of the packs I have are full and original. I bought a few from other collectors that are rebuilt packs, I think that's what they called them. These spuds came to me that way, so they have this white seal on the top of them, where normally the blue paper tax stamp would be. It's not so easy to find these packs anymore. I think the last one I found out in the wild was in a Salvation Army store. They weren't selling it. They didn't even know they had it. It was kind of smashed flat in the inside pocket of a dusty old suit coat that hadn't been worn for at least 50 years. It's this one here. I still see these packs occasionally in flea markets. If you're new to the idea of collecting these, you might want to know how to date them. Well, in the U.S., from 1932 into the 1950s, the packs had a blue paper tax stamp on the top of each pack, and that stamp would be imprinted with a series number. The series number on this pack is 111, which means 1941. You forget the 1 in front, the digit in front, and add 30 to the remaining 2 digits. Why? I don't know. Just to be cagey, I guess. Anyway, in this way, this Series 111 pack of Luckies is a 1941 pack. So it was in that suit coat since 1941. And this other pack of Luckies, in better shape, is a Series 112, which is 1942. You take the 12 in the 112, add 30, and you get 42, 1942. And that figures because we see that this is another foil-free pack made during the war years. 1941, foil. 1942, no foil. After this particular tax stamp was discontinued, the way packs are dated is not so exact. They can be roughly dated by what kind of health warning is printed on them. Before 1966, there was no warning at all. In that year, a mild caution paragraph was required on packs sold. If a pack has a warning instead of a caution, it is from 1969 or later. In 1987, the game was upped again, with more definite and sterner language. In part 2 of this video, we'll look at more packs and we'll look at cigarette advertising, once upon a time all over radio and television, but banned there since 1970.